Our people lived off the land. They used the land. They used to see the loot. They looked at the resources that were there and they utilised them. So it makes sense that when you're travelling across fresh waterways, rivers, lagoons, lakes, that you'll look at, well, what are the natural resources that are available to help do that. Mōkihi or Mogi, as we know it as, Mogi, M-O-G-I, or Mōkihi, it's traditional watercraft. Our tupuna used to make mōkihi or mogi out of raupo or using kōrari, flax stalks. That was, I suppose, seen as an easier way of building a river craft, watercraft, rather than actually have a waka. Hei, anau mai haere mai I tēnei rā. Ko Joe Wakefield, tāku iko, no te waka o Aoraki, ahau. No reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā rā tātou katoa. People see raupo as just a clump of bush, and they don't see its worth. A swamp to us is a supermarket. When we go and cut raupo, we found there was a lot of dead raupo just lying there that hadn't been cleared away. So when we went through there, we were like clearing that as well. So therefore it allows the water to actually flush into areas it hasn't flushed in for some time. So by doing it, it's carrying the nutrients up into areas it hasn't, so it allows for new growth. That's going to have a spin-on effect for species such as whitebait for spawning sites and other species as well that rely on the raupo as I suppose a protection guard. Raupo is part of the riparian strips that take care of a lot of the nitrates, phosphorus, etc. Issues that are going on. It has an important part to play along with harakeke in trying to neutralise the pollution from the land use effects, farming, etc. To me, what would have happened in the old days is our tupuna would have got to a river or waterway and they would have known that they would have had to crash across it, so they would have decide right there and then, let's make a mōkihi. The flax stalks you can grab at any time that when they're there, you can just go and grab a whole bundle off them, tie them up and make a raft or a mōkihi and cross the river. So the same would have applied with the raupo as well. If they were in a hurry and they needed a mōkihi, they would have made one right there and then. But these days we prefer to have our raupo dry. Those can go like that. The main concern is going to be the layouts down below, because that's where all the water's going to drip to. So, on top, the wind and the sun will dry out the top layers quite easily, but it's underneath, so maybe once a week come in here and just try and turn it over, just to get some air to it. The thing is, when the raupo dries, it shrinks, so we really don't know what it's going to look like until you actually see it dry, and then only then we'll have an idea of what size it will be. But definitely we'll be making one not maybe full size, but we've got enough here to make one. That's cool. Hence you got your honeycomb effect, and inside it you got little pockets. See those little pockets there? Pockets of air. So that's what gives it its buoyancy.
All the time. Now you're not going to eat that stuff. You're listening.
So when we first brought the raupo here, it looked like a real huge amount of raupo. But over the last 4 weeks, that's been sitting here, it's been drying out, and the raupo has actually dried down. how I've measured the rope in terms of the length that's required for the rope or lashing the rope all together is I've pretty much just gone 4 times the length of the rope that's beside us, and then just cut it. Also join the ropes so that I begin at halfway. So find halfway mark, we're starting at the middle and then working out to each end. You might have an idea in your mind before you start pretty much what you're wanting to achieve, what you expect the outcome is, but yeah, it never happens that way. You know, it's pretty much you start putting it together, and slowly, stage by stage, it will take its own natural shape. The key is the lashing, because the lashing is actually going to pull the rope and the karate sticks inside together. When you lash it, you're actually tightening it up and it becomes solid. You know. And the idea too with the tightening is that there's less gaps, so the water won't be able to actually come through in the inside. We've made the 2 sides of the base. So we've aligned each lashing up with each other, starting from the middle and working outwards. Okay, so we've got 3 lashings either side of the middle on both. Now we've separated them out. We're going to form what we call the puku, or the stomach. And you get through here. When you're doing the base, that's really your lashing really needs to be nice and tight and holding it together. The sides, yeah, a little bit different. The sides are just there really to protect the water from coming over the top. You know, it's not just about making the Mōkihi, it's also about the whakawhanokataka that comes about it, that bond, that family bond, that relationship of people coming together, sitting around talking. If somebody comes along and participates in the wānaka or watches us, you know, even just make a Mōkihi like we are here today, and they become interested, then kei te pai, I'm happy with it, you know, because I know that somebody else has taken that interest up now and wants to get involved and wants to continue this on. It was the transport for ferrying, you know, Mahinga kai, Pounamu people from one place to another. And yeah, it wouldn't have taken long to whip one up. Once you got to the other side, you could just leave it there and walk off. You know, someone else would come along and use it. What's happened in the past I've seen is that people have made Mōkihi around the different marae, Ngāi Tahu marae, and then they've put them underneath a stage or they've hung them out for display, but they've never used them, and therefore it hasn't fallen apart, and they forget about it, and it stays there. In the meantime, no one's come back and made another Mōkihi, so the knowledge, you know, is not quite, you know, well known anymore how to make Mōkihi, because they haven't made one for quite some time. You know, so for me, yeah, that's the key, is that, you know, keep passing that knowledge on, sharing it with those people that want to know. If you're able to do that, then you keep that tradition alive.